Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ask the Expert webinar. Thinking of moving from SAS Enterprise Guide to SAS Viya? What to consider. My name is Tiago de Souza, and I will serve as your moderator for today's event. Now, I would like to take a moment to introduce our presenters. First is Gemma Robson, a principal technical training consultant here at SAS. With over 2 decades of experience using SAS, Gemma brings a rich tapestry of knowledge and expertise to the table. Joining SAS as a solutions implementation consultant and gaining early exposure to the innovative SAS 9 products, Gemma then transitioned to SAS Education, where she specialized in teaching SAS programming, SAS Enterprise Guide, and introductory statistics before moving to the adoption practice. Also on the call is Wilbram Haziaher, a principal product manager here at SAS. Wilbram is a product manager specifically in the data engineering team. He has been involved in SAS's data management products for many years in various roles, including architecture, working closely with customers, and authoring several papers on SAS data management products. Gemma, or Wilbram actually, please take it away.
Thank you, Tiago. Before Gemma talks you through a detailed comparison of SAS Studio and SAS Enterprise Guide, I would like to take a few minutes to put things in a bigger context. So when talking about taking advantage of SAS Viya for existing SAS 9 customers, we have what we call different pathways. So when looking at SAS Enterprise Guide, it allows you to connect to SAS 9 servers, and since April last year, it also allows you to connect to SAS Viya for compute servers. So when we look at the pathway for integration with SAS Viya, it's talking about taking your existing SAS Enterprise Guide project and have it run against the SAS Viya 4 server while continuing to use the Enterprise Guide application. The EG tasks in your project that perform data preparation, analysis, or produce reports will continue to work. You can simply specify which of the nodes in your EG project should run on a Viya 4 server and then run the process. So you could even do things like having parts of your process run on a SAS 9 or multiple SAS 9 servers and part of the process run on Viya 4. This will allow you to start taking advantage of SAS Viya in small steps and continue to use the Enterprise Guide Windows desktop application as your user interface. If you were at SAS Innovate or watch some of the sessions online, you might have seen that very soon SAS Enterprise Guide will also support doing that very same thing that I just described with SAS Viya Workbench servers. So again, taking your Enterprise Guide project and run it against a different server, in this case, something that is software as a service, meaning that you don't have to worry about setting up and maintaining your SAS software. And SAS Workbench is then aimed at developers writing SAS code or Python code or R code, and they can use Visual Studio Code as their development environment, or they could use Jupyter notebooks. Now, when talking about migration to SAS Viya, and think about this migration like what humans do as well, you take everything and you move somewhere else. It means that you would take your Enterprise Guide projects, they would be exported to what we call SAS export packages, and you do that in SAS Environment Manager, or you could use a CLI to take care of some of that, and that converts it to a SAS Studio flow. And SAS Studio on Viya is a web application, and then run that flow, and it runs against the Viya 4 environment. And then you have a web-based application to manage and author your flows. And although Gemma will do a deep dive, I wanted to provide a quick overview how SAS Viya 4 in general compares to Viya Workbench. So SAS Viya 4 is the new SAS Viya platform with many SAS applications, all web-based applications, SAS industry solutions, including SAS Studio, which provides data management flows with a large collection of advanced data management transformations. There are things like custom steps, so you can enhance the functionality and build point-and-click interfaces for other users in your organization. And as part of advanced data management, it includes support for scheduling. SAS Viya Workbench, on the other side, is aimed at data scientists that write code. Already mentioned software as a service. It supports multiple languages that you see listed here on the slide, and you can choose whether you want to use Visual Studio Code with the SAS extension as your code editor, or Jupyter Notebooks. And the underlying idea is that we want to provide you with various pathways to take advantage of SAS Viya to allow you to choose what's best for your organization. And I will now hand over to Gemma to take you through more of the details of SAS Enterprise Guide and SAS Studio.
Thank you, Wilbram. And thank you all for joining us for this Ask the Expert. So if you are a SAS Enterprise Guide user, transitioning to SAS Studio or transitioning to SAS Viya from SAS 9, then it actually opens up a whole world of advanced capabilities, enhanced performance, and modern analytics. So we talk about this, it's more than just an upgrade. It's actually the opportunity to leverage the full power of cloud-based solutions, improved collaboration, and cutting-edge machine learning tools. Now, all of the content in the slides that you're going to see and the demo that you're going to see are all pertinent to SAS Studio on SAS Viya. And a couple of these screenshots are actually even the new version of SAS Studio, the new and improved version of SAS Studio released next month. Okay. But before we go any further, just want to get a feel for who is on the call. So we're going to open up a poll, and the poll is talking about asking which SAS application do you primarily use? Okay, so we have the SAS Windwin environment, or some people call it base SAS. We have SAS Enterprise Guide, SAS Studio on SAS 9. We also have SAS Studio on SAS Viya 3.5 and SAS Studio on SAS Viya 4. Okay, so your answers just help me understand my audience a little bit better, so they understand you guys a little bit better, so that I can pitch the presentation accordingly. Okay, so I'll just give a couple more seconds for people to answer. You guys might be on other, or like DI Studio. Maybe you're a DI Studio user, or maybe not sure. Okay, I'm going to close the poll in 3, 2, 1, and let's see what we've got. Excellent. So we've got a range of attendees, primarily SAS Enterprise Guide, which is what I was thinking. And then we have some base SAS people, hardcore base SAS, and then some SAS Studio users as well. Excellent. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about SAS Enterprise Guide. Well, we're going to be talking about SAS Studio and SAS Viya 4, comparing it to SAS Enterprise Guide, and we're going to use 8.5, I think I've got now. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much for your participation in that poll. Okay. So the agenda is, for my part of this presentation, we're going to introduce SAS Studio. So we're going to have a little bit of a marketing spiel, I suppose, supported with a few slides, and then we'll move on to the feature comparison, which will see SAS Enterprise Guide and SAS Studio side by side, and we'll talk about the similarities, and we'll talk about how easy it is to navigate and how similar it is to navigate between both of them. Then we'll explore in more detail a comparison of them both. I'm just going to use slides for that, and then finish with a summary of the key benefits of moving to SAS Viya. So not just about SAS Studio, about SAS Viya too. Excellent. As Tiago said, there'll be time for questions at the end. So, but you can add them to the Q&A as you're going along as well. Okay, fabulous. I think that was everything. Brilliant. So, what is SAS Studio? So SAS Studio is a web-based integrated development environment for data engineers, data scientists, and data analysts. It connects to cloud and on-premises sources, supports low-code data pipelines, and enables seamless integration with SAS, Python, Git, and CI/CD tools. So we've got built-in transformations and advanced analytics. SAS Studio streamlines data preparation for AI, decisioning, and business intelligence. I told you this bit was my marketing spiel. Okay. So we can access any data on premises or in cloud, and we can seamlessly accessible through your web browser. So you can easily connect to the leading cloud data platforms, just as you can see in this picture, like AWS Redshift and S3. We've got Google BigQuery and Google Cloud Storage, Azure Data Lake Storage, and we can connect to those anytime, anywhere, on any device. It also supports the usual range of databases, including Oracle, Snowflake, Teradata, Single Store as well. Yeah, and plus the various file formats, the usual Excel, text, and ORC. I think I've pronounced that one right. Okay. What else will SAS Studio? You can choose your path, no code, low code, or yes, code. So we can easily create data pipelines using drag and drop steps. Again, just as you see in this picture. We can also develop code using Python or SAS. We can use our favorite integrated development environment. So whether you wanted to use other things like Workbench, and embed it into SAS Studio flows. Everything runs securely and with full oversight, so your data stays governed, centralized, and auditable. It's very important things. You can choose your style. Integrate data in ELT and ETL manner. So build data integration processes either using extract, load, and transform or extract, transform, and load approach, whichever suits you best. You can use powerful in-database tools to join, transform, and merge data, and we've got the manage slowly changing dimensions as well. That's a really important one. And create your own visual transformations for your unique needs. You'll probably hear me say this a few times, but this is my favorite part of SAS Studio on SAS Viya, and Wilbram's actually mentioned them as well, creating custom steps. It's brilliant. We will come back to it later on in the meeting, but we have a visual drag and drop designer, so you can easily create powerful custom transformations and then use them in your flows, or you can use them as standalone, and you can also share them with your teams. Plus, we have a wide range of community-built custom steps in the public SAS Studio Custom Steps GitHub repository. So there's loads already out there, already built, that you can download and use as well. Streamline, boost, and govern data team collaboration. So we can manage and organize your project assets efficiently with built-in Git integration, making it easy to handle code and logic changes, track versioning, and keep a history of updates across multiple data engineers or analysts. And when you're ready to deliver, the open, well-documented APIs makes it straightforward to access and share your data. And integrate with open source technologies. So you can easily schedule, orchestrate and monitor your data pipelines using Apache Airflow with the SAS provider for Airflow, or whatever orchestration tool you prefer. Got Python or open source tools? No problem. Just plug them into your flows and turn them into visual, reusable steps with the custom steps framework as well. More on that one later. Okay, excellent. So we're going to go to the feature comparison. And this one, we're going to do a demo of SAS Studio and SAS Enterprise Guide side by side. So I'm going to share my screen. And let's make sure that this one works. Just bear with me. Right, so fingers crossed, you guys should be seeing SAS Studio is up there already. And then we have SAS Enterprise Guide. Fabulous. Okay. So during this demo, we're going to take a look at side-by-side comparison of SAS Studio Engineer and SAS Enterprise Guide. We're going to focus on the similarities and the differences, especially when navigating the applications. So I've already signed into SAS Enterprise Guide and I've already signed in to SAS Studio 2. So what I'm going to do is I wanted you to see them full screen because I'm going to put them side by side. So we're going to get half the width. But yes, they're very, very similar already just to look at them. So I'm going to take SAS Enterprise Guide and I'm going to put it to the left, choose SAS Studio and put it on to the right. So the SAS Enterprise Guide 8.x release was redesigned to closely align with SAS Studio due to their shared functionality and to facilitate a smoother transition for customers if they wanted to move over. So both applications include SAS program environments with a color-coded SAS language editor and convenient point-and-click wizards, tasks or steps that enable you to import data, create reports, graphs and charts, and analyze data. So we're going to start looking at the similarities first in the user interface. They both have the start page. They both have the navigation pane down the left-hand side, as you can see. To get to your SAS data sets, you can click the servers icons. So in SAS Enterprise Guide, the server icon is labeled server, and in SAS Studio, it's labeled, here we go, Explorer. There we go. So we click both of those, and you can get to your SAS servers here. In SAS Enterprise Guide, if you want to open up your libraries, you expand the server in your servers pane. In SAS Studio, if you want to get to your libraries, you click the Libraries button just there. Okay. Click Tasks in SAS Enterprise Guide to access a whole load of predefined point-and-click interfaces that guide you through a process while generating SAS code for you. So these tasks, as some of you are probably aware, are used in a process flow. In SAS Studio, we actually use steps. Let me just make this a bit bigger there. We use steps in flows to generate the SAS code, or flows, if my accent is not working. Both products also have a Git integration. So we've got the Git repositories in SAS Enterprise Guide, and then we click the Git repositories icon in SAS Studio, so that we've got version control, enabling us to manage changes and track the history of our work. And both SAS Enterprise Guide and SAS Studio provide a color-coded SAS language editor. Let's get a bit going in this one here. Okay. So in SAS Enterprise Guide, you can click on the start page, create a new program to create a new standalone SAS program node. We can start typing in here PR, and it will give us various options. If we select enter on that first one there, that gives us that print, it gives us the proc print. We can then do a space and we can carry on typing. We have data equals SAS, and as you can see, the suggestion boxes appear to help you, instead of typing like me with fat fingers, to help you with what you would like to use. So I'm going to press enter again to select SAS help, and then I'm going to put a dot, and then we're going to go cars. There we go. Semicolon and a run, semicolon. So we have our first little bit of code, generously helped by SAS to do it. So we're going to click run all or selected code to run that code. Now, by default, SAS Enterprise Guide creates a HTML output, and the print procedure displays all columns and rows in a SAS table as a report. Now, we can do the same thing in SAS Studio really, really easily. So again, I'm going to use the start page, and we're going to say program in SAS. And we're going to do a PR, and the first thing that comes up, the suggestion is proc, so I'm going to press enter to say yes please, and when I do PR again and start going, we can see it will still suggest the information that I want. Okay, so we're going to go prop print data equals SAS help dot cars semicolon run semicolon. Now fingers crossed I've done that right. Same thing, let's press run code. By default, we get our HTML results, which print out all rows and all observations from the data, the SAS table. Okay. Nice and easy. Now we can create similar output by using tasks in SAS Enterprise Guide and steps in SAS Studio. Again, I'm going to start with SAS Enterprise Guide. So we're going to go with File, New, and Project. Save. I don't want to save that one. If necessary, select Servers in the navigation pane, and we're going to expand Local and Libraries. We're going to go to the SAS Help Library, and I'm just going to press C on my keyboard to go down to the lovely cars table. So a lovely, well-used cars table. I'm going to right-click the cars table and select Add to Project. Now we're going to do a list data task. So I'm going to click Tasks in the navigation pane, and we're going to expand Describe. Double-click the list data task, and that connects it to the cars table. I'm going to use my mouse and keyboard to select all the tables in the variables to assign pane, click the arrow in the middle, and send them over to the list variables, which essentially just says I want you to print all of these variables out. So again, just doing the minimum so that SAS can generate that code. Click Run, and fingers crossed. Oh, do you just love it when a plan comes together? My enterprise guide. Oh, there we go. Yes, come back. Okay, so there we go. We have the HTML output. So again, it's just doing the same thing as we did with the prop print, but a little bit more code in the background. Let's do the same thing in SAS Studio. So we're going to use the toolbar, click New and Flow to create a new flow. I'm going to select Libraries in the navigation pane, and as I did previously, I'm going to expand SAS Help. I'm going to use my keyboard to go down to the Cars table, right-click and say Add to Flow. So we've now added a table step to the flow. When a step is added to the flow, it becomes a node. When selected, the node options can be viewed and modified in the node details in the bottom half of the screen. Okay. Click Steps in the navigation pane and expand. Here we go. Where have we got? Examine data. There we go, towards the bottom. Now, if you're doing this at home, or if you want to do this at home on your own SAS Studio version, the list of available steps will depend on your SAS Studio license. And there is a fabulous post out there, fabulous blog post on SAS Communities. I think by someone called Gemma Robson. shamelessly plugging my blogs, which will talk you through finding out which SAS Studio version and SAS Studio license that you have, which will then help you understand what steps are actually included as well. Okay, we're going to use the list data. So I'm going to drag and drop the list data step from the navigation pane to the right-hand side of the cars table node until it says connect to output port. Now, just as the table step did, the list data step allowed us to change the default behavior of the list data step using the node details at the bottom. I'm actually just going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it. It doesn't have a little circle here, which tells me that it needs attention. So I'm going to see what SAS can do just with running that list data task there. So by default, what it should do in the submitted code and results, it should do exactly the same thing as SAS Enterprise Guide. Create a HTML output and lists all of the rows and all of the columns in the sashelp.cars table. Okay. Both products can easily create HTML, PDF, RTF, Microsoft Excel, and PowerPoint output. Okay. You may have noticed that I use similar terminology between the applications. So we have process flows available in SAS Enterprise Guide, and they are automatically created when you create a project. You can add additional process flows by using File, New Process Flow on the SAS Enterprise Guide toolbar. In SAS Studio, we have flows, and these flows are saved in folders. We also have subflows, which are saved flows within flows. So you can save a flow and then put it in a flow as a kind of shortcut to another flow as well. In SAS Studio, we have these predefined snippets. And create your own SAS snippets in SAS Enterprise Guide by saying Program and New SAS Snippet just there. SAS Studio has lots and lots of these predefined snippets, and these snippets are generally small pieces of really useful code. So one of my favorite snippets is the Cloud Analytics Services snippets, and it's this load data to CAS SASLib. Okay, I'm just going to open that a little bit more so you can see. So the just predefined SAS code. Okay, really, really useful. Now, let's put this back on the side. Let's discuss some of the differences. The big difference, primary difference between SAS Enterprise Guide and SAS Studio is that SAS Studio is a web-based application. It's accessible from any device with an internet connection, while SAS Enterprise Guide is a Microsoft Windows client application installed on your machine. Another primary difference is how SAS Studio runs a flow compared to SAS Enterprise Guide. Now, when you click Run Entire Flow, if I go back to my flows, when you click Run Entire Flow in SAS Studio, the code for the entire flow is generated. Consequently, if there are any errors, it will not run any of the nodes. Whereas in SAS Enterprise Guide, it runs each node at a time and it continues to run even if one node fails. The underlying technology For SAS Enterprise Guide tasks and SAS Studio steps differ. So you can't open SAS Enterprise tasks in SAS Studio flows, but we do have a really strong like-for-like modernization process. So the Wilbur mentioned this a little bit earlier, and we can transition SAS Enterprise Guide projects to SAS Studio flows. So you don't have to redo all of your work. If you've got a really favorite SAS Enterprise Guide project, we can import it and create a SAS Studio flow from that. Finally, SAS Enterprise Guide. It was initially designed to appeal to low-code or no-code users to enable them to access the power of SAS for the data manipulation, analysis, and reporting. Obviously, it's much bigger than that and appeals to all kinds of users, of course. But transitioning to SAS Studio on SAS Viya, it offers a broader suite of cloud-native applications. So you've got SAS Studio that can be used for creating data pipelines using low-code, no-code, or coding options, including Python. We have SAS Visual Analytics, which can be used for low-code or no-code data exploration, analysis, and reporting. We have SAS Model Manager, which can be used to register, modify, track, score, and publish analytical models. So it's not just a shift to SAS Studio, it's a transition to the full capabilities of SAS Viya. Okay, I think, let me just have a quick look at my notes to make sure I've not missed anything. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I wanted to show you. So they're very, very similar in appearance, very similar in navigation as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to return to the slide share. Okay. And go on from the demo there. Okay. So now we're just going to have some slides that delve a little bit deeper into the differences and the comparisons. So the first slide here is just a summary of the demo. Then we'll go into obviously more detail after that. So both SAS Enterprise Guide and SAS Studio give you intuitive point and click ways to work with your data. So whether you're transforming or analyzing data or building reports. Now they also come with a color-coded editor, Git integration, and lots of built-in tools that generate SAS code. So we call them tasks in SAS Enterprise Guide and steps in SAS Studio. The one thing I really like about SAS Studio is that you can run a program, query, or flow in the background. Now, this means that you can keep working while it processes. So handy when you're multitasking or multi-stepping or multi-flowing. Oh, no, very, very bad joke. I'm sorry. Now, the main difference. SAS Enterprise Guide is Windows application, so it needs to be installed locally and does have some Windows magic. SAS Studio, on the other hand, runs in a browser, but it can be installed as a progressive web app. So you can actually get the convenience of a native app without the install as well. So it's a good one. That one's a good one to look into. Okay. Both tools support a wide range of data sources, just as we saw on that first slide that I shared. We've got SAS datasets, databases via SAS Access, and you've got your common file types like CSV, Excel, and Parquet. I can't say that one. Parquet files as well. Now, there is a small difference in how they handle reading in local files. So SAS Enterprise Guide uses that Windows magic, as I like to say, and uploads a copy to the server in the background. In SAS Studio, you currently upload it manually, but I quite like that because it kind of gives more control and helps with collaboration. So yeah, you're all using the kind of same files. Okay. Now, if you're using SAS Viya, You'll also get support for the cloud native sources like Amazon S3, Azure Blob, and APIs for social media as well. SAS Enterprise Guide can access this too, provided you're connected to SAS Viya. Yeah, that integration there. Both applications support visual data pipelines. In SAS Enterprise Guide, you build these with tasks in a process flow. In SAS Studio, you use steps in a flow. You can also create your own custom tasks or steps if you need to go beyond what's built in. Again, more on that later. Both applications also create a flow from a SAS program. So you can get that structural visual approach to managing complex data processing and analytical tasks. Yeah, so instead of having it on one big SAS program, it puts it in a flow for you, which is really nice. So now where the applications differ a little bit. SAS Enterprise Guide uses multiple process flows per project, while SAS Studio flows are stored in folders. In SAS Studio, we have swim lanes. They're used to manage a flow. So they're used to manage a flow you can use it to manage the order of the branches. I'll get my words right. And subflows, which I mentioned earlier, are saved flows. You can add those to a flow and build up your own process flow, your own flow with lots of subflows in as well. Okay, so a good way to organize multiple flows too. SAS Enterprise Guide supports prompts for dynamic user input. So usually this is to enhance interactivity, customization, and error reduction in reports and data analysis. Now, similar functionality will be introduced in SAS Studio. The current solution offers custom steps, allowing the creation of the user interface to dynamically modify that code during execution. Enterprise Guide also has the conditional processing, so that if then else logic for tasks and branches. So this can be used on input values, prompts, or time date triggers. Now it is on the roadmap for SAS Studio, so stay tuned. So building on that low code, no code capabilities that we were talking about before, both tasks offer plenty out-of-the-box steps or tasks to help you prepare your data, run your analyses, and create reports. Now, SAS Studio expands on this with the SAS Viya advanced capabilities. So you'll find data engineering steps, data quality steps, decision steps for integrating with SAS intelligent decisioning, model registration step for SAS Model Manager, and also steps for advanced machine learning and analysis. You can customize your environment in both applications by showing or hiding specific tasks or steps. In SAS Enterprise Guide, this requires admin setup and a metadata server, but in SAS Studio, it is user configurable. When it comes to coding, both applications offer a solid experience. So we've got syntax highlighting, the autocomplete, as we've said, integrated syntax help, and we've also got the lovely code indenter if you've used that. We do get the data step debugger, which is a powerful tool for troubleshooting logic issues as well. SAS Studio supports multiple languages. You have the Castle language for working with the Cloud Analytics Services engine, and you have Python, complete with its own editor and a dedicated step. Now, SAS Enterprise Guide supports Castle and ProcPython as long as you're connected to a SAS Viya environment. And both applications support snippets, the pre-written chunks of code that you can reuse. We can create, share, and organize snippets, and even assign abbreviations for quick use. As I showed you previously, SAS Studio is supplied with a variety of built-in snippets, such as templates for the DS2 programs, and my favorite, the CAS snippets as well. Both applications enable you to manage snippets, but SAS Studio offers a little bit more robust management capabilities, allowing users to hide or organize and display and filter snippets as well. SAS Enterprise Guide has the additional feature of being able to create keyboard or editor macros to perform common editing tasks. So these tasks can be recorded, saved and edited, and assigned a shortcut key as well. For an example would be if you want to use a keyboard selection to select a current data step or a proc step, something like that. Extensibility. Now, this reflects our aim that our applications can be expanded, modified, or adapted to suit your needs, all with minimal effort. So in SAS Enterprise Guide, you can build custom tasks using C# and VBNet to create the interface and to program the code and logic as well. In SAS Studio, these custom steps, there is a visual designer, and it lets you drag and drop your way to a custom step. It even generates the JSON code for you. You then build the custom logic using SAS or Python. So custom steps in SAS Studio is such a powerful tool and my favorite thing, and it makes it so much easier to extend the functionality of SAS Studio. And just as we mentioned earlier, there is also a custom steps GitHub repository that's been established for enabling the wider SAS communities to share or download these custom steps too. Okay. What else have we got? Integration. So combining different tools to work together effortlessly. Both applications integrate with Git for version control and team collaboration. Now, SAS Studio is deeply connected to other SAS Viya applications and letting you share data and run processes. So this in-memory data can be used in SAS Visual Analytics for reporting, SAS Model Studio for data mining, etc., etc. Plus, SAS Studio supports REST APIs, making it easy to plug SAS into larger systems or workflows using standard HTTP methods. I put my teeth back in saying that one. In SAS Enterprise Guide, scheduling projects, process flows, or code relies on external schedulers like the Windows Task Scheduler. In SAS Studio, you have an integrated, centralized platform, and that's the SAS Job Execution Surface. So users can schedule flow or code directly in SAS Studio and monitor and manage the jobs in SAS Studio or SAS Environment Manager, including redeploying a flow or program. So having a centralized scheduling system just means that all your jobs run on a unified system rather than relying on hidden PC-dependent schedules. SAS provides an official connector to Apache Airflow to allow flows and code to be orchestrated as part of complex data processes involving multiple systems. SAS Studio and SAS Viya APIs can be used to enable the execution of SAS Studio assets, so facilitating seamless integration with third-party scheduling or orchestration tools. Facilitating, I like that word. Okay, we're nearly done with these few slides now. So stored processes. So stored processes and SAS Viya jobs both execute SAS programs that run on demand from various applications. So these support web reporting, analytics, dynamic execution with parameterization as well. So both integrate with SAS and third-party tools, but they differ in how the interface is developed. So SAS stored processes are created using point-and-click wizard in SAS Enterprise Guide, enabling users to define prompts that dynamically adapt the code upon execution. SAS Viya Job offers, well, I would say it offers greater flexibility in prompt creation because users can use a HTML form. Now, that obviously requires knowledge of HTML, or they can define them in JSON And that can also be generated using the drag and drop custom step designer in SAS Studio. Yeah, so if you don't know either of them, it kind of just gives you a bit more flexibility. Okay. Okay, so which one should you use? Well, it depends on your setup. It depends on your preferences. A lot of the newer features in SAS Studio, especially when paired to SAS Viya, do make it a strong case for modernizing. Yeah, and we're just going to summarize those now. So cloud technology is the biggie. It's become the standard in modern IT. So it simplifies infrastructure, unifies those systems and applications, especially for the seamless browser-based access. The cloud-native file formats optimize storage and accessibility. And adaptive scaling compute sessions further enhance performance. Maximizing productivity in SAS Studio includes features like background submit, the centralized scheduling, and if you're coming from SAS Enterprise Guide and you want to bring those SAS process flows with you, then you can import your SAS Enterprise Guide projects and modernize them to SAS flows. Multi-language support. So we obviously have the SAS programming, we have CAS, and then we have the SAS Viya applications, Python, Apache Airflow, all of those lovely integration bits there. So SAS Studio is built for collaboration, automation, and scale, making it bigger. And last but not least, we have the extensibility. So it's quite critical for modern tools, so that people can expand on the built-in functionalities or use the built-in functionalities while also developing and integrating custom features as well. We've mentioned the snippets. We've talked a lot about custom steps. I won't say again that they're my favorite, but they are my favorite. And we also have the open APIs as well. Okay. So this is the last slide from me anyway. And again, it's going to be a little bit of my marketing spiel. Transitioning from SAS Enterprise Guide on SAS 9 to SAS Studio on Viya, it's more than just a shift in tools. It's an opportunity to enhance performance, leverage modern analytics, and embrace cloud-based collaborations. By understanding the key differences and advantages, you guys can maximize the potential of SAS Viya's powerful features, from improved data processing to advanced machine learning capabilities. This evolution ensures a more efficient, scalable, and future-ready analytics environment. Okay, so that is me done. I think it's back to you, Tiago.
Thank you, Gemma. With that, we will be moving into the Q&A segment of the webinar. Just a quick reminder on how it works. If you would like to ask a question, simply type it into the Q&A widget located at the bottom of your screen. We would also love your feedback on our webinar today. So please take a moment to fill out a quick survey by clicking on the survey widget, which is also at the bottom of your screen. There's only 4 questions and should only take a minute to complete. Your feedback is super valuable to us, and we will use it to shape future webinars. All right, now on to our first question here. Is there a specific version of EG that is required to run across 9.4, Viya, and Workbench? And are there limitations to using each of these with EG, assuming there was a use case that required this? For instance, could you have a flow running across all of these in the same EG session?
I'll take that one, Tiago. So, yes. Let's start with the version. So with Enterprise Guide version 8.4 that we released in April last year, we introduced the new capability regarding integration with Viya 4. So if you have EG 8.4, then you can already start using SAS 9 and SAS Viya 4 and also mix the two in one and the same process flow. Then at the end of next month, we will release SAS 9.4 maintenance release 9, and at the same time, we will also release Enterprise Guide 8.6. And that Enterprise Guide version introduces that new capability of integration with SAS Viya Workbench. So once you have EG 8.6, you will be able to create a process flow that sends certain processing to a SAS 9 server, certain processing to a SAS Viya 4 server, and other processing to a Workbench server. By the way, if you currently already have Enterprise Guide, then you can use the check for updates option in the help about menu. And once EG 8.6 is available, probably 24 or 48 hours later, it will prompt you and say, there is a new version, would you like to install it? You say yes, and then you have that version. Let me see, did I answer everything that was asked in that question? I think so. Yeah, you can mix and match and do any combination of the different servers.
Thank you.
Yep.
Another question here. Is it possible to transform stored processes from SAS 9.4 to SAS Viya / SAS Studio, including the prompts?
The answer is yes, and Gemma already mentioned that on one of the slides. I have a SAS Communities article link. Let me see, where was that question that I can paste into that as well, that takes you through that whole process. And Gemma already explained, that you can export it, then you can import it on the Viya side, and then you can even in Studio build your own prompts for that stored process, which we call a job definition in the new Viya world. Can you remind me, Tiago, which one was it, number 10 or 12? I don't see it. I want to paste the URL.
It was question
Maybe.
12. If you drop the URL in our team chat as well, I can take care of that. No problem.
Yep.
Another question here. Can you run 2 jobs in parallel using SAS Studio on Viya?
Yes, you can. You can do multiple background submits. So you could have multiple Studio flows open or programs open and background submit those. What you can then also do is you can take that flow and create what we call on the Viya side a job definition out of it. And then you can use that in scheduling and have if then else constructs and and or constructs in the scheduling capability and run these things as well. So if there are dependencies or under certain conditions, one can run and the other cannot. Sort of you can model that then in the scheduling capabilities in SAS Environment Manager in Viya. So the answer is yes, you can do that.
Thank you. Someone saying Python is an option on SAS Viya 4. What are the plans for R? And what about these 2 analytical tools in regards to SAS Viya Workbench?
So yes, on the SAS Viya side, we have a proc Python. So that allows you to also build custom steps. And there are a number of those examples already in the GitHub repository with SAS Studio custom steps that then generate code that includes proc Python and Python logic. Regarding R, there are some, if you are in Viya Workbench, then inside that environment, I think it was released about 2 weeks ago, if I remember correctly, you can now also use R. And going forward for Viya 4, we're thinking about having a proc R very similar like we have proc Python to do the same thing on the Viya 4 side.
Thank you. Someone saying, I have Viya 3.5 and I do not have the flow. What am I missing on my environment?
Viya 4. You're missing Viya 4. Sorry. Straight shooter. really, that's one of the things you should really consider. Viya 4 has been out for a number of years, and that's really where all of the new development happens.
Thank you. Someone's asking, during a migration, will the projects developed in Enterprise Guide be carried over? How much effort is involved?
So you can take your Enterprise Guide projects and then run it through. First of all, there is an assessment tool that you can download from SAS Support, SAS Content Assessment, which will analyze all your SAS 9 artifacts and tell you, hey, these things are using constructs that are not available. To give you an example, there is no SAS metadata server in SAS Viya. So if you use data step functions that interact with the metadata server, you'll have to find an alternative because there is no metadata server. So it will identify all of these processes that you have. It will then explain you, okay, here are some things that you're using that are not supported in Viya, like these data step functions for metadata. Here are maybe some constructs that you're using that are typically switched off by an administrator in a Viya environment. An example is calling operating system commands, sort of when you run in the cloud, and these things, IT administrators are very wary of allowing users to run operating system commands. Viya 4 supports it, but your administrator might not allow it. So those are a number of things that content assessment will tell you. You should look into that. There might be that in your Viya 4 environment, you're using different data sources or data sources with a different name. If you do that in hard-coded strings, like you have pointers to files that are hard-coded, content assessment will make you aware of that. There are tools then to specify what these strings should be replaced to, and then as part of the migration, it will actually do that for you while it generates the Studio flow. So there is a lot of tooling available to make things as streamlined as possible. But of course, it requires attention, and you probably want to test these things. So it all depends. But we provide a lot of tooling to make that process as smoothly as possible.
Gotcha. Thank you. I'm afraid that's all the time we have for questions today. There's a list of helpful user resources and links here on our final slide. On behalf of myself, Gemma, and Wilbram, and all of SAS, we really hope they enjoyed today's webinar. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your day.